Hi guys, James at RampantLionReviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one we are going to stick to Skåne here in the south of Sweden, and we're going to revisit one of my very local breweries. I think this is review number 5 or 6 that I've done from these guys, and since it's October, you know, I would be a bit of a miserable git if I didn't do an Oktoberfest beer. So that's what we're going to do for this one. So we're going to return to Eslöv and do another beer from Remmarlöv Gårdbryggeri, basically Remmarlöv Farm Brewery if you want to translate that into English. So this one is called the Festbier, and it's an Oktoberfest Märzen coming in at 5.9% ABV. So it should be quite interesting. I've had some very positive experiences with these guys before. You know, the Sweet Hoof, their stout that they do is a really nice beer. There's also the Red Carol, their Christmas beer, is always quite a nice one as well. And those are probably my 2 favourite beers that I've had from them so far. So looking forward to trying something a little bit different, and as always I hope you guys enjoy my take on this beer. So anyway, as is usual with my reviews then, I'll tell you a little bit about the brewery. If you want to get straight to the tasting, just fast forward. All the usual links are in the description below. That's the brewery website, the link to my other reviews that I've done from Remmarlöv Gårdsbryggeri before. No doubt I'll add some more to these reviews in the near future. There's all the usual social media. If you want to see more beer reviews, do please consider subscribing to the channel. The whole channel, of course, has a geography-based tagging system, so you can go into the home page and search for beer based on country, city, state, county, prefecture, whatever it is you're interested in. Do check out the playlist of beers from different countries. There is one there for all the Swedish beers that I've reviewed for you. That's constantly being added to, and as always, please do get in touch and let me know some of the other beers and breweries that you guys would like to see me review. It's always great to hear from you guys that are watching the videos, and the support that you show the channel is hugely appreciated. So anyway, to tell you a little bit about Remmarlöv Gårdsbryggeri then. So as I've mentioned to you before, this brewery are based in Eslöv, which is just a little bit out to the north of Lund, I should say, where I stay. But they have been brewing here since the winter or autumn of 2014, and then in January 2015 they started selling their beers in Systembolaget. But the owner and founder of the company is Håkan Nilsson, and together with his wife Michelle, he started his plan for a brewery a couple of years back. And the brewery is located on the family farm, and Håkan is apparently the 5th generation of the family to do the farm work here on the countryside of Skåne. But the old barn was renovated, and a brew house of 1500 litres was installed, and Hampus Olofsson was hired as the brewer in August of 2014, having previously worked for Malmö Brewing Company in Malmö. Of course, they do some awesome beers down there, and Hampus is quite a talented brewer, I have to say. As I say, my favourite beers that he's produced probably are the Sweet Hoof and the Red Carol, their big Imperial Red IPA that they do at Christmas time, or Imperial Red Ale rather, that they do at Christmas time, is always a really nice beer. Those are probably my favourite ones so far, and they're always producing new beers and trying different things, which I think is very cool. But yeah, that's all you really need to know about the brewery just now. If you want to learn a little bit more, you can follow them on Facebook, you can check out their website and stuff like that. But let's get on to the actual tasting of this beer itself. So yeah, I'll just let you have a little look at the artwork of this one before we open up. Fairly similar, or yeah, pretty much similar to all of the other ones that you'll see from Remmarlöv Gårdsbryggeri. Nicely presented beer, this one. There you can see the blue and white checkers on the side, which is of course a reference to Munich, where Oktoberfest was born. And there you can see, if I remember rightly, Oktoberfest, it was one of the Dukes of Bavaria, one of the Kings of Bavaria, one of his daughters or something like that got married, and they had a massive party for all the citizens. That's where Oktoberfest was born. I think that I was talked about that in one of the reviews. It might well have been Paulaner when I was reviewing their Oktoberfest beer, something like that. But there you can see the chicken, the cockerel on top, and that's a chicken rather than a cockerel there on top of the bottle. But yeah, as I say, Oktoberfest was born because of one of the daughters, I'm sure, of one of the Bavarian kings, or Kaisers, or however you would actually call them, got married, and they invited all the citizens, and then it just became a yearly event because they loved it so much. But yeah, so it says here on the side, we've brewed this beer for Oktoberfest, which always happens in Munich. This one, it's a light lager with a little bit of bitterness, and yeah, it's basically a sort of nice, is it a lager, a long level, something like that. But yeah, nicely presented beer, this one. So without further ado, let's get it out and get on with the tasting. Very curious about this. So the Märzen style, of course, it's basically, yeah, it's a sort of lager style beer, this one, but from what I remember it's always a little bit more biscuity, a little bit more bready, and also a bit higher in alcohol as well. Most German beers like the Helles and Dunkel always tend to be around the, you know, the 5% ABV mark. This one at 5.9% is a little bit heavier, of course. Let's turn the brewery notes off then. But yeah, as you can see with this one, it's poured, you know, a really crystal clear golden straw colour there. It looks really nice actually. Put my fingers behind the glass, you can see this beer is completely transparent. It's really nice, you know, it's pretty much the same colour as apple juice, this one. There's a solid, I would say 2/3 finger of a frothy white head to this one. When you're moving this beer around, you get some really nice sort of German noble hop aromas out of this one. It's got that sweet earthiness, nice little bit of floral and grassy character, and you know, that sort of grassy, citrusy kind of thing. But it looks very nice, and it seems to smell very nice as well. So let's just take a closer look at the aroma and just see how we get on with this one. Yeah, pretty much as you would expect. I mean, the Märzen, it's not a style that's really going to surprise you in terms of aroma. It is just, you know, it's not too far away from a Pilsner Pilsen, however you want to describe it. But yeah, nice little bit of bready malt to this one. Nice little bit of that bready base. It's almost got a little bit of a kind of corny sweetness to it, if that makes sense. And it does say on the side here it's got corn malt in it. But you can smell that, that coming out of the beer. Nice little bit of bready notes. Some biscuity sweetness in there as well. Not caramel, definitely more biscuity sweetness. It reminds me of the McVitie's digestive biscuits that we eat at home. As I was saying, it's got these typical noble hop qualities. I would be guessing that it's Hallertau hops that they've used in this one rather than Tettnanger, because it is an Oktoberfest beer from Bavaria. But yeah, you get that nice, distinctive, slightly sweet earthiness from the noble hops. It's got that a nice little bit of floral aromaticity, a little bit of lighter grassy note, and some of that kind of grassy citrus character that I was talking about as well. So yeah, so I always say, just take a little bit of time and enjoy the aroma of this beer before you get stuck into it. But it smells really, really nice. It's a bit nostalgic for me, this one, because, you know, I always loved German beer. Really was what made me kind of fall in love with beer, if you like. When I lived in Germany and I was drinking the things at Kulte Brewery and Vetters in Heidelberg, you know, some of the stuff that they were producing, I thought it was brilliant. Of course, there was Brewdog in Aberdeen as well, but it was German beer and Schlenkerla that got me into it, and then going to the German brew houses, it was just bliss. But yeah, you know, pretty much this one, it looks as you would expect from a Märzen. You can get them being slightly darker than this, of course, but it looks pretty much like you would expect from a Märzen. It smells like you would expect from a Märzen. So let's get stuck into this one then and have a taste. So this one is the Festbier from Remmarlöv Gårdsbryggeri in Eslöv here in Skåne in the south of Sweden. So let's get stuck into this one then. Slange, skål. Yeah, I mean, this is the thing with this beer. Compared to you know, compared to some of the other things that that Remmarlöv Gårdsbryggeri will put out, I mean, to say it straight up, that it's not one of the more exciting beers you're going to get from these guys. I will say that. But then it's not. The Märzen is a distinctive style of beer that is brewed for the Oktoberfest, and in terms of the Märzen style, it's a good beer. You know, it's a lager beer. It's an easy drinking sort of sessionable beer. That's the whole idea of Oktoberfest. And as a Märzen, it's a solid beer. This one, it's typically, it tastes exactly like some of these German ones would. It tastes like the Oktoberfest beers that you would get in Munich. And the thing I'm noticing about this one is it feels very nice and clean. It's got a nice oily mouthfeel to it, and I do like that. I do like it when the beer's got a little bit of an oily quality to it, to be honest. And this one, you know, the flavours kind of all blend together. It's a very well done beer. That's one of these ones. When I say it isn't one of the more exciting beers that you're going to get from Remmarlöv, that's really just down to the style, to be honest with you. The Märzen is not the most exciting style of beer that you're going to get. It's a nice style, right enough, yeah, but it's not as adventurous, I guess you should say. That's maybe a better word. It's not as adventurous as some of the beers that you're going to get from Remmarlöv Gårdsbryggeri, and the style itself is a bit more of a conservative style, I guess you could say. But yeah, let's kind of break this one down then. So with this beer, you can feel a little touch of that bready quality. That just blankets the middle of your tongue. On top of that, you get the nice kind of a little bit of that corny sweetness, and that comes out more and more as you go in towards the aftertaste, but then you get a little bit of sweetness right in the middle of your palate, and some of the biscuity notes just spread further out from the centre of your tongue. Yeah, it really is quite biscuity and sweet right in the centre of your palate, and then it just becomes a little touch more grainy as you move out towards the side of your palate. But the oiliness, the kind of sweetness that the malt base in this one has is particularly nice. I always remember the ones in Munich and stuff just being, they've just got a little bit more of the breadiness is a little bit more pronounced, if you like, but I like what this one's doing with the base. It tastes really very similar to them. It's just not quite as bready. That makes sense. But that said, you do get more of the breadiness in the aftertaste. But I remember the German ones being very straight up bready. This one has that nice sweetness at the beginning, then it fades away and it just gives you a little bit of that breadiness. But it's a nice beer that I like what this one's doing. I like when you pick up these little niches in the beer. On the hoppy side of things, again, it's what you'd expect. Nice little bit of almost sweet earthiness in the back corners of your palate as you come further forward along the sides of the tongue. It does spread forward a little bit. Nice little bit of floral aromaticity on the front corners of the palate, then round the very front curve of the tongue. It's just a little bit lighter and grassy. And then behind the front curve of the palate, of course, that's where you get that little oily bubble where the nice juicy fruity esters start to come out of the beer. So for me with this one, you've got a nice bit, there is a nice little bit of how do you say, there's a nice little bit of that kind of typical grassy note that you would expect from beer, that sort of grassy citrusy thing. It's not quite lemongrass, it's almost just a little touch lemony or something like that, but it's got that nice kind of fresh grassy sort of thing to it. There's maybe a little touch of an appley or peary ester or something like that in this one, but that's very minimal, kind of right on the tip of your palate. But overall, like I said, this one is a nice Märzen that, and I like the fact that it starts off a little bit sweeter, then you get the breadiness coming out of it a bit later. That makes it kind of interesting, and it lets you know it's how do you say it? It lets you know that it's a little bit different from the kind of original Munich Oktoberfest beers. But yeah, I have to say, Remmarlöv once again and Hampus, they've done a good job with this beer. I like how this one goes together. It tastes very, very similar to the ones that you get in Munich. It's the slight differences, I think, maybe the way that some of the flavours come out and when some of the flavours come out in this beer. But yeah, really, really nicely done beer that. And in terms of closeness to the German styles, it's pretty much as close as you're going to get. So in terms of the mouthfeel then, this one I would say, in terms of the lager beer, in terms of a sort of lagerish type beer, I'd say mid-bodied, carbonation's very smooth in this one. It's quite an oily mouthfeel, this one, like I said, and I like that about this beer. The malt base is quite sweet in this one, then it smooths out a little bit later on. Nice little bit of hoppy bitterness, I would guess maybe around is it somewhere around 30 IBUs? Maybe somewhere between the 20 and 30 IBU mark, and it's got just a nice little bit of a fruity, juicy quality on the end of it. But like I say, very, very nice beer, this one. You wouldn't expect anything less from Remmarlöv. They do put some really nice beers out there. This one, as I said, not one of the more adventurous ones you're going to get from them, but in terms of an Oktoberfest Märzen, they have done a really quite nice job of this. So yeah, let's leave it at that. So this one is the Festbier, an Oktoberfest Märzen at 5.9%, not 9.5%, from Remmarlöv Gårdsbryggeri in Eslöv here in Skåne in the south of Sweden. A really nice beer, this one, and I'm glad that I was able to review it for you. So let's leave it at that. So once again, thank you for watching my beer reviews. Until the next time, please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff. Let me know your own thoughts on this one in the comment section below. Let me know what your favourite beers are from Remmarlöv Gårdsbryggeri, and I'm sure I will review something more from these guys in the fairly near future. But in terms of an Oktoberfest Märzen, they have done a pretty damn good job with this one. So until the next time, Slander just now, and I will catch you guys very soon. Skål!